Buenos dias, cosmonauts. Another action-packed week is behind us. Today's Sunday, so it's probably the best day to recap, to chill, to watch some YouTube videos, and to be prepared for what's coming in the following week. And even though we are entering what I call the phase of absolute boredom, it is more important than ever to stay up to date, because now is the time where you have to be present when people are just getting bored out of crypto and get shaken out in this last window of bearishness. Let's start one by one and look into the prices first. Bitcoin just above 29K, Ethereum 1800. Nothing much happened. I think there's this psychological mark of 30K, which we're currently below. So below, we're all super bearish. Above, we're all super bullish. Right now, it's around 29. Ethereum hasn't really done much. And if you scroll down, you actually have to scroll down a lot now, because Atom, our beloved Atom coin, is ranked 30. So it has lost a lot of rankings over the past weeks and months, which means it got outperformed by other coins. And I don't really like that. We're now around 81% away from all-time high from January 17, 2022. If you look at other coins still, such as, for example, Avalanche, they're ranked 19th. They have pretty much around double the market cap than Atom, but they're down 91%. So it all depends when you got in, how long you're holding, how you play the airdrops game, how you play the staking rewards compounding game. Because even though Atom lost rankings, from a financial perspective, if you play the airdrops game well, and that's also one of the reasons why you subscribe to this channel, you actually made a lot of money throughout the year, right? Nonetheless, I still think that Atom needs to move soon because the time is ticking. One of the main catalysts, in my opinion, is in fact a revision of the Atom tokenomics. And while this is just a puzzle piece on a philosophical and product-related roadmap for the Cosmos Hub and Atom, it has a huge impact for investors, because investors look at numbers, and numbers right now, if you look at inflation alone, that scares a lot of people off. So with a revision of the tokenomics, and I strongly encourage you to watch the spaces that I hosted with the people that are working on this, then you get an idea of what is coming and how fundamental and impactful this also can be. So listen to that spaces. It's really good. 2,500 people have already listened to it. I am not worried about Atom. I think there is a chance that Atom does not manage to pull through and the time is up. But I think there's a much higher chance that Atom will actually regain steam and regain relevance and power, and then just climb up in the rankings again. So I don't see how it can stay out of the top 20 for longer, especially with the tokenomics coming up. And we're just talking a few months. Like, this is already full steam in the works. So I don't see how Atom should be below ADA, for example, or even Sol, in my opinion. Anyways, my personal opinion. However, at the same time, I also think it's very important to also diversify, right? We talked about Injective. We talked about even Kava, USDT. Also Osmo, I think, like, you need to have a diversified basket of Cosmos assets, because holding Atom alone is not enough. But maybe it's a separate video. What I wanted to talk about as well here is this event, Cosmoverse 2023, coming to Istanbul, October 2nd to 4th. The main conference, we have a hackathon called Hackmos, October 6th and 7th. If you're a developer and you want to get into Cosmos, text me, drop me a DM, or go on our website and click on the Twitter icon here and then drop us a DM there. But we really want you, especially if you're a builder, if you're also a trader, if you're a content creator, no matter what, if you want to learn more about Cosmos and get into it, then text me or the Cosmoverse account. In terms of tickets, and actually let's first look into who's actually coming. We announced the first batch of speakers. This is by far not all the speakers. You have the core Cosmos people that you see at Cosmoverse every single year, right? Like, remain Cosmos at the core, but also to branch out into other ecosystems. And I really think that this is the way to go. Also, we just had Atom Ho Chi Minh, another Atom XYZ event by Cosmoverse. We did a lot of events recently. Currently, we are on this tour through Southeast Asia. We had Bali. We also did Berlin. We did Hong Kong, Istanbul, Dubai, Singapore, and many, many more. So if you want to stay up to date and you want to come to Cosmoverse, then go on cosmoverse.omniflix.co, because in a few hours, tickets are actually going live. So by the time this video is up, you can probably already get tickets. And these tickets are priced at $79 US, give you access, full access to all 3 conference days, food, even lunch, everything is included. Get your ticket and follow us on Twitter. On another note, I also want to talk a little bit about Staketo, because a lot of people have hit me up and said, yo, Cito, is that your validator? Is that you? And yes, I'm the co-founder of Staketo. It's my validator along with 2 other co-founders. And we've been doing this now since early 2021, since I think April 2021, which is when we got into the Atom active set. And now we're ranked 43 on the Cosmos Hub. So you can delegate your Atom to us. You can delegate your INJ to us, your Osmo, even Fetch, Curium, Archway, newer chains, Akash, we just launched recently. And you can join 76,000 delegators, and we strongly appreciate that. We're super active when it comes to especially governance, but also like overall participation in the chain. We're always on top of the things. We're a very strong tech team. We're a team of 6 now, so we have 3 people doing mostly governance, and then we also have a strong tech team, and that's really a fun journey, and I really appreciate everyone's delegations. Now, let's look into some of the things that are upcoming. For example, Passage. If you've been around on my channel for a long time, you definitely know about Passage. If you're core cosmonaut, you know them in and out. They are building virtual worlds. They're building virtual spaces. I don't think they like the term metaverse. So it's more so virtual worlds and community building. And also they're building the Strange Clan, which is a game. What they just announced is a $6 million private sale round led by Akashnet. In fact, also I am invested into Passage, and also with Staketo, we're running a node on Passage. So if you get any tokens, or if you get the airdrop for holding a Strange Clan NFT, then feel free to delegate to us. And some people could say like, I'm biased now, or some people could also say, I just have skin in the game, and that's really it. I mean, this is extremely risky and volatile to take on multiple hats in the crypto space. But I really love this. I love the team, and I think they have a great vision, and they have one of the coolest products also in Cosmos that can really, really take off. So they announced that, and with it, they also announced the launch of the Passage token, the PASG token, which is going to launch on StreamSwap on August 29th, so by the end of the month. Now, we have something that is shaking up the Cosmos Hub community yet again, and this is proposal 811, the proposal to enable permissioned WASM applications on the Cosmos Hub. It is a very different read than most of the proposals that I've read before, and it gives this analogy that the Cosmos Hub should become an app store, which I've heard for the first time. And I don't think that this is like an analogy that makes sense. I mean, it sounds cool, but I don't think it really makes sense, because I think the core community is really convinced us that the Cosmos Hub should preserve its credible neutrality as much as possible, while offering services to the interchain that make sense and add value and have real demand from other app chains or products or ideas in Cosmos. Now, I'm not going to go too deep into this, because this always ends up in drama. It's also very political, anything in governance, to be honest. But that's also the beauty about it, right? We're fully decentralized. Everybody can contribute, share opinions. And in the end, there's a vote that's on-chain that will be enforced. And maybe for you to make a better and more informed decision, read these 2 threads. The first one from Xerox Page, the founder of Neutron, who gives clear points of why he voted no and why he thinks a no vote is the only logical consequence here. At the same time, you could also say that he might feel a little bit threatened, because Neutron is supposed to be the CosmWasm hub on the Cosmos Hub and not the Cosmos Hub itself. It would kind of compete with it, right, to at least some degree. So This is something also that Neutron really wants to offload from the Cosmos Hub so that the Cosmos Hub can purely focus on ensuring that security is provided, and in the future also other services. So I think there's some really, really good points in here. On the other hand, we have a thread from Noam, who is also an OG cosmonaut, works at Binary Builders, which is a core infra company in Cosmos. And he says yes to Cosmos on the Hub, but also doesn't like the Apple Store analogy. There's actually some very good points in here as well. Why CosmWasm, permission CosmWasm would make a lot of sense. For example, for sub-DAO tooling, also for the hub beyond interchain security to provide other infra services, to do upgrades and all these kind of things. From the Staketo side, our validator, we are usually discussing especially such proposals on our team calls in depth. So we will all prepare. This is always taking place usually on Thursdays. And thankfully, since their hub has 2 weeks voting period, there's enough time for us to really evaluate the pros and cons. And then Liam, predominantly, he is super deep into those topics and governance and arguments and evaluating also all the information. So we will be sharing our stance with Staketo. I would think sometime toward the end of next week. Now, that said, I think, what are some of the things you should do? Number one, you should listen to these Twitter spaces. Number two, you should also watch my evmos 2.0 video I just did. And all the other videos, if you missed out on them. This one got actually a lot of viewers, 7.2, 7.7K. That's really cool. We actually grew the channel in the bear market. This is also something crazy to point out here. I mean, a lot of YouTube channels in a bear market, you lose subscribers and they lose viewers, they lose watch time. For us, actually, the opposite happened. We grew not just the team, but also we grew watch hours, we grew subscribers, we grew everything. My thoughts on what is next for crypto, what is the next phase? I mentioned in the intro, we're entering this phase of boredom. And I think this is really the phase during which nothing major happens. I mean, we went through a lot. We went through Terra collapse, went through FTX, we went through 3AC, liquidations, bankruptcies, left and right, people in jail right now. We went from SEC FUD, USDC DPEG. We went through so much in the last 2 years. Still, we're standing. And I think right now we are entering this phase where there's probably not much huge headlines, especially negative headlines. There's probably still some headwind and some negative news, but I don't think that we'll see, let's say, Tether, let's say, I don't know, Binance, one of these major institutions or organizations collapse. I don't see that happening because they already made it thus far. And I think if they survived until now, the chances are just very, very low that they are now somehow out of nowhere collapsing. But anyways, I think this is in fact the phase where you will just start hating the industry. You will just like getting frustrated about the industry. It's not really rewarding. All this time you invest into crypto, worthless. You're just losing money. That is this phase that we're entering. But if you manage to survive, it is the most rewarding part of the crypto industry. Because if you want to catch life-changing 100x, 50x, 30x, whatever gains, you don't place those in a bull run. You place those in the driest, most boring phase of the bear market. And I think we're now entering this phase. I think we're already in it. And that phase usually lasts 6 to 8 months, which also lines up with the Bitcoin halving that is coming up. I want you to be 100% committed, because if you are not committed, you will be shaken out. And I don't really want you to be washed out. If you have made it so far, then just stick around for another 6 to 8 months and you will see that this negativity is not going to last forever. We're not just reshuffling the cards in the background, the black rocks, they're all preparing. I don't see fresh capital coming in into the next 2 or 3 months, but I think they're now preparing. They're getting ready for the next run. Lastly, Say Network is launching finally, highly anticipated. They're launching on Binance. They also have this farming campaign, which I don't necessarily advise you to do because I also don't really believe in centralized exchanges for those purposes. But honestly, it's going to drag in a lot of liquidity, a lot of people, and just a lot of eyeballs as well, right? So for Say, that's the perfect spot to do that for that purpose. In fact, also with Staketo, we're in the Genesis validator set, And also I'm invested in Say Network for full disclosure. And Say is also going to do an airdrop for Atom people, amongst others. So if you've been staking Atom, you are supposed to get the Say airdrop. I'll keep you posted as soon as there's more information, more details out there. In the meantime, subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on Twitter @Cryptocito, and get your customers tickets right now. I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe and be good.